So I want to make a quick video on the topic of political endorsements. And I know that this can be a contentious issue for many of our members. I know that there are some of you out there who would prefer that we didn't do political endorsements at all and that we completely stayed out of politics. And I also know there are some of you who believe we should only be endorsing political candidates from one particular party. I'll probably touch on those two topics or two issues in a separate video. Right now, I just want to focus on the process in place in order to choose the endorsed candidates for Cap City Lodge 9. So the committee is chosen from the general membership. Ideally, you'd like to have everyone represented. So you'd like to have a retiree, you'd like to have somebody from the county, somebody from the city, you'd like to have the suburban agencies represented. The chairperson is generally responsible for choosing the members, and then they have to be approved by the president and the executive board. So the first step in the process is notification goes out to both major political parties, independent third parties, and independent candidates, letting them know that we have begun our endorsement process. So any candidate who is seeking our endorsement will then generally send in a bio and a resume. They'll send it directly to the lodge. That's given to the committee. And usually when they get together prior to interviewing any candidate, they begin kind of a vetting process. So they're going to check their social media accounts. They're going to check legislation that they've authored, bills that they voted for, things they voted against. They're going to review interviews that they've done, any videos they can find online. Basically trying to find out as much information about this person as they can. Looking for anything that could embarrass us, things that could be questionable to us, specifically, topics that are important to our members. So one point of emphasis that I should make is, in order to be endorsed, one rule that we've never yielded on is that a candidate has to physically come into our building and be interviewed by the political screening committee. So they can't interview over a teleconference, they can't do it over the phone, they can't send in a questionnaire or a letter. They have to actually physically come in and do the interview. So the interviews generally take about a half an hour, and it's begun by the chairperson. They'll walk the candidate in, they'll introduce them to the committee, and then the chairperson will go through a set of questions, generally 10 to 12 questions that every candidate is asked, and give them a chance to answer. The questions vary from year to year depending on what legislation is going to be coming up or what issues are relevant for that time. So once the candidate has gone through and answered all of the questions, the chairperson will then open it up for the other committee members to go through and ask follow-up questions to this person. In addition to asking follow-up questions, they could ask questions that are specific to the agency or agencies that they are there to represent. So in other words, a retiree might have questions relating to the pension system. A county sheriff's deputy might have questions relating to issues going on at the county or the jail, things that a city officer or a suburban officer might not be aware of. So that's why it's important to have a diverse group of our members on that committee, because you need multiple perspectives, because not everybody knows everything that's going on or every challenge that's being faced by our members. So it's important to have a wide variety of voices. So once the follow-up questions are done, the candidate is generally given a chance to make a closing statement, and then everybody shakes hands and they leave. At the end of those, generally over a 2-week period, is when the political screening committee will meet with all the candidates and conduct their interviews. At the conclusion of that, the committee will then notify the membership that they'll solicit feedback. So that's your chance, the members, to talk directly to the committee. Generally, people can come in person. Some folks do. You can send an email. You can give a phone call to one of the members or to the chairperson. But that's your time to share your thoughts, beliefs, or experiences with these candidates. So if you have somebody who's running a candidate for a judicial position and you've had multiple interactions with this judge or this lawyer, whether they're positive or negative, and you want to share that with the committee, that's your time to do so. And it's important that you do. It's also your time to just simply share your thoughts on a particular race with the committee. So after the committee solicits input from the membership, then they have a vote where they'll vote on candidate A, candidate B, or no endorsement. The chairperson generally does not vote unless there is a tie, and then they become the tiebreaker. So what happens from there? Well, so the following month at the general membership meeting, the committee chairperson will advise the membership of their recommended candidates. So in other words, if there's a spot open, an open council seat on city council, they will say, we interviewed candidate A, we interviewed candidate B, we recommend candidate A. And they will present that and open the floor up for discussion. Generally, if you've ever been to one of those meetings, it's one of the more well-attended meetings. People have an interest in that as well as they should. And people can then ask questions of the committee. Well, how did they answer this question? What do they think about collective bargaining? What do they think about the challenges to our pension system? And the committee will answer those as best they can and try to explain why they chose to recommend candidate A over candidate B. So then it goes to a floor vote, and the membership on the floor can either choose to accept the recommendation of the committee, in which case if the committee recommended candidate A and the membership votes in agreement with the committee, then that person, candidate A, becomes officially endorsed by FOP Cap City Lodge 9. If the membership does not agree with the committee, then they can vote no, and if that is the case, then our lodge will issue no endorsement for that particular race. So the membership on the floor has the ability to either confirm the recommendation of the committee, at which point that candidate becomes endorsed, or reject the recommendation, at which case there is no endorsement in that particular race. Once that happens, the endorsed candidates are generally contacted the following day. They're told of the good news that they are now officially endorsed by the FOP, and they can begin using for that election cycle, they can use our emblem on their campaign literature. They're generally invited to our lodge for a press conference a few weeks before the election, where they're announced. They can take their picture with the president and get some good publicity. And that's pretty much the process. I know that there's a lot of questions. The state and the national have a slightly different process. Again, I'll probably cover that in a different video. But I hope this answered some of your questions. I hope you found this video informative. If you like this video, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of my videos on issues related to our lodge and to the FOP, please hit the subscribe button. And if there's any other topics that you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments section or shoot me an email. And that'll be it. Thanks.